Hello, welcome to South of Left Field. My name is Jimmy, and today I would like to talk about a mission statement, a constitutional mission statement. Now, this may sound a little interesting, I hope, but I want to begin by reading the first sentence of the United States Constitution. And the thing that I find so interesting about this sentence is that I really don't seem to hear very much made of it, either in the history that I taught or day-to-day issues and things that come up. But this first sentence constitutes what in the military I was taught was essentially a mission statement. And even in my work in the field of engineering and nuclear power, the first sentence or paragraph of any proposal that was being presented for analysis and review had to have written out clearly what it was that this proposal or this design was intended to accomplish. And I find it very interesting because I realized when I read the first sentence of the U.S. Constitution, that's what the framers did. They laid out in the very first sentence the purpose behind this Constitution. So without further ado, let's see if I can read it. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. There it is, one sentence. And it encapsulates the purpose behind everything that follows, to include the Bill of Rights. I mean, everything that follows after that lays out specific things like a postal service that the Congress shall maintain for its citizens. It lays out the organization of the government as a whole, the three major branches. You've got, of course, the legislative branch split into two parts, a Senate and a House of Representatives. You also have a judiciary in the form of the Supreme Court. You also have the administration, that agency run by this President of the United States. So all of that, and the powers that are divided, and the authorities that are provided, and the directives that are given, everything that follows this first sentence, everything that follows this mission statement, if you will, is just laying out a framework and assigning duties and responsibilities to the federal government's agencies as they are established, as well as listing rights in the Bill of Rights, things that the government are to ensure for everyone. So let's take a look at this, because I want to put a little history into some of this. And pardon me if I take my glasses off, but you may not be able to tell. My lighting is dim, and of course my eyes, not like they used to be. So we start off with the forming of a more perfect union, as opposed to the form of government that existed during the Revolutionary War itself, which really proved to be weak, fragile, and ill-organized. There was a lot of debate about how much power the states and how much power the federal government was to have, and a lot of this was informed by fear of a ruler, an authoritarian figure like a king or a monarch. So they were looking for something more perfect than the confederation that they had before. Interestingly enough, the Civil War, the South went with the Confederation. They went back to a structure not too terribly different from what we fought the Revolution under. I guess they thought it would work for them. It didn't. So we're looking at what? We're looking at established justice. Established justice. So that falls into our court system, our federal courts, the Supreme Court, all of the judiciaries. The idea is that we should all have to answer to the same laws. Domestic tranquility. Now I'm going to take that. Provide for the common defense and promote the general welfare. Now these three things in my mind, they often fall very close together. So let's look at this. We're looking at the defense of the nation. So if you went to the high brass in the military today and you wanted to open a discussion with them and say, hey, look, if you have to start a general draft, or if you're looking to get people to serve in the military, what kind of citizens are you looking for? And I can guarantee you they're going to say, hey, we want people that are strong, read that as healthy. We want people that are educated, intelligent, trainable, who have already evolved skills through a school system. You give the military a population like that to draw from, and they're going to be happy as pigs in slop, because they're looking at raw material of a superior quality. They're looking for health, strength, trainability, and intelligence. These are the things that make very effective soldiers. To get that, you've got to have health. You've got to have health. The federal government really isn't doing anything to help us with our health. Education. Well, the educational system, once you get out of high school, is essentially limited to the wealthy. So I'm going to veer for this. I want to go back to health. Now, I know that one of the big common tropes today is to point to something like Social Security, to point to something like Medicare or Medicaid, and to say, oh my God, this is socialism, this is communism, this is terrible. But I bet hardly anybody knows the history behind governmental social welfare. That's what they want to call it today. So let's go back to a serious communist history here. Just in case you don't know, I'm being very sarcastic when I say that. The first state-run social network that was like our Social Security today was established by that hardcore left-wing Chancellor of Germany in 1889, Otto von Bismarck. Think about that for a moment. Now, if you know anything about history, or if you want to look this person up, I don't think you're going to find that this is a person who felt any sympathy whatsoever for the tenets that were being espoused by Karl Marx, who that's fairly contemporary. And he had to be well aware of it. But Otto von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Germany, a Prussian, asked for and got the support of another Prussian, Kaiser Wilhelm I of Germany, Emperor of Prussia, who wrote a letter to the government at Bismarck's urging, encouraging the formation of a social support network for people who had worked and had become disabled or infirmed by old age. Now, they had a clear purpose in mind for doing this. For one thing, they wanted to answer one of the big criticisms of communism and socialism, and it was the fact that capitalism as being practiced in the era left people who had spent their lives working practically in abject poverty. You work your whole life, your wages are as skimpy as the businesses can make them. And that's classic capitalism. I'm not going to say that it's, deliberate evil. It's the way business and capitalism works. But you look at the end of your life, and what you find is you get there and you have no security. You have to lean towards a charity, hope that there's some member of the family might take care of you, something like that. Now, this sort of problem is something that people have been trying to address going all the way back into the Middle Ages with the formation of guilds and organizations and groups. But once you move off the agrarian society of the large family groups, you find there's no social net of any significance. And it's very easy to find yourself in a position where you've been injured on a job, crippled or hurt by disease, and you're practically left to die in the gutter. So what did these two Prussians have in mind? What they were doing is they were trying to address a need in the growing industrial society, a need that would encourage their people, and a need that would actually help with the health and welfare, not only of the businesses, not only of the economy, but of the state itself. It was, in some ways, if you want to say self-serving, because it made Germany more powerful by giving its people a reason to work a reason to feel hope, a reason to feel allegiance to their government who was saying, we want to ensure that you're not left to just die, abject and alone, after you have served Germany through your labors, through your life. Now, this same sort of self-serving attitude can be put to medical care and many other things. But this is the point I want to make. Look at this mission statement. The general welfare matters. And it's something we need to stop bashing when our federal government reaches out to try to do something. It's something we need to encourage our federal government to do. That's why we formed a government to begin with. Think about it. From South of Left Field, thank you for listening. I hope I haven't bored you to death. Please like, please share. And if you feel frisky, subscribe. Thank you.